So let's get to some practice tips for this lento movement of Zigeunerweisen. This part is slow and it starts with appassionato, meaning passionately. It's slow but very passionate monologue, and it feels like a woman's honest venting out or some kind of story that someone is telling, pouring out her heart. And there are some statements and some improvisation in between the statements, and that varies and demonstrates different kinds of techniques. So the goal here is to get the technique out of the way so we can express the freedom and express more easily, more without any obstacles, more without the fear of not executing the technique. So when you practice, you're going to be using more of your left brain and analyzing the technique. Really prepare for the next note whenever you have big shifts or long run. Practice slowly and always knowing the distance between two notes and knowing where your fingers are and really supporting the fingers to the best possible way. When you start the first note, we have the big leap after that. So take your time getting deep into these two strings. Slide into it. So because this is gypsy airs, it has some kind of airy element to this movement. There's some freedom. You can express some rubato. You can go forward. You can slow down. But in the context of phrase. So one phrase after one phrase, you want to make it more like one line. So here, right? So here, the double stops. Practice slowly with listening, and after that, just knowing the distance between first finger and third finger. This is 2 whole steps distance. And then when you go to this one, first finger moves just only half step, and then the third finger moved whole step. And then after that, it's the opposite. First finger moves whole step down, and then third finger moves half step down. And then after that, whole steps down. Slow down here, and then slide into the final note. Take your time. And then get to the first position. This run, you want to make it as free as possible, but you can practice with left hand being prepared for the string crosses and also right hand being prepared for the string crosses. So how I practiced is divided in different strings. See, I know where to string cross with my right arm, and then also where to prepare for the string cross with my left hand. So it's all about walking the fingers and getting prepared for the next note ahead of time. See, when I put down the third finger, I put down the first finger together. That makes the slur very smooth and clean. You can practice with the accents here. And then the shifts, you can make it as light as possible. So first finger is not pushing it, but lighter on top of the string. Take your time. You can even add some notes here. This is one of the effects that Sarasate uses. So you're going forward and back. So this is up bow, less bow, and more bow, crescendo, accent. The trills, always drop the finger, lifting and dropping actively. So this one finger glissando, the chromatic scale is, you can practice slowly with knowing, with the bow, each note articulating. And then you will notice that finger distance gets a little bit wider and wider as you go down, as the position here are close together, and then here they have distance. So, and then after you practicing that many times to know the distance, practice with just few notes in the beginning you can articulate, and then after that you just like vibrato down. So it's like using the vibrato but regularly coming down to that second position. And then after that, we are starting from fourth position. You can either slide with your pinky or use the first finger to know where the pinky is going. I like to slide with my pinky. Lots of notes here. So what I do is I give an accent on each first note of the group. So I know it's not like bunch of notes together. I know the pattern and then I know where it is starting. So you're giving some order in this, like lots of notes in a row. And then when you're actually playing, you don't have to give too much of an accent. You can go. And then slur staccato. Bite each string, each note. Bite and release, bite and release. You don't need to use too much bow, very little bow. And then you can have it a little bouncy at the frog to lighten up. And then anchor your thumb here. To make the glissando easier. And then sit a little longer on the first note. And then lighten up. Bow by the bridge. And then sing every single note, even the 8th note. Here, first finger, get ready. So when you play this G, my first finger is gonna be here. Vibrato. Now we have the next section that's very assertive. For this one, get ready for this one and this one. See? Both notes are in tune. And then this slur staccato, because the string cross is from E string to G string. Make sure that when you come to the G string, you're biting even deeper. Right? Because G string is a little slow to respond. And then left hand pizzicato. Make sure that your fingers are from the inside of the string. Right? And then fragile. When you have more than 4 notes in a run, always group it with less than 4 notes. So in this case, we have 9 notes in a row. I would do 4 notes and then 4 notes, shift, and then 4 notes, 2, 3. So, and then know where the string cross is happening. Here. So the bow is moving more with the fingers and maybe wrists, not with the whole arm, because there are so many like delicate string crosses that you want to just make sure that it's like, it sounds like it's a one bow. One string, I mean. So. Here, drop, lift and drop. Lift the bow and then drop it. Drop it without any control here, but drop it with the rhythm. So. Now, again, assertive statement, 1 octave higher. So to know this, from here, you are on the 2nd finger. This is where you're going. So I would cross, same position, here. 2. Let's speak this. And then here, drop the fingers together and then lift it with plucking like this. Here we have longest run of the movement coming up, and you can practice with accenting the first note of each 4 note. Like this, and then knowing where the string cross is happening, it's usually at the end. Then shifts. So practice dividing those sections, knowing where it's happening, and then after that you can connect those. And then after this, come to the third position. This note, pinky on the string as soon as possible. And then take your time for this big lift. And take time here. And then after this movement, there's poco più lento, which is even slower than this lento movement. So you can slow down into that slower movement. So this was for the lento session. And there are so many runs and improvisation sounds like passages that are very virtuosic. You can always practice slowly, knowing where the fingers are, where the string crosses are, where your shifting is happening. And when you have big shift, always practice the transition, knowing how many positions you're shifting to. So that's the key. And then always take your time getting to the next note, grounding to get there. So always a little more time, depth, and then jumping to the next note. That's the big shifts, like practice tips. Hope this was helpful. And if this was helpful and if you resonate with my practice process, download the free PDF down below. It's called 10 Steps to a Happy and Effective Violin Practice. And here I introduce the secrets to playing the violin with deep joy and body-mind-heart connection. It's all about you and your violin, the connection that you have, and the awareness that you bring to your body and also your sound. So when you practice with those 10 steps, before you practice, just read it through and then practice with those 10 steps. It'll change the sound and how you feel in your body. And it could also bring some breakthroughs during your practice time when you're using this method. So download the PDF. This is all free. It's in the comment below. And tune in for the next video that I will demonstrate for the un poco più lento and allegro molto vivace movement, which is the final movement of the piece. And if you have any questions around technique or around the piece, feel free to leave a comment below the video. I will get back to it and maybe include the answer in my next video. So thank you for watching the video and taking the journey with me. And I look forward to connecting with you soon. In the meantime, happy practicing.